All right, welcome to another edition, another version of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight podcast. I love doing these shows because every week we get to meet interesting realtors from around the state. It seems like sometimes now. But what's really kind of cool is everybody has a unique story. Everybody is in a different, unique lane. And so as you're looking for the person that you ultimately will help you, if you're one of those folks that are watching this, looking for a realtor or looking for a listing agent or looking, you can find the exact person that you would like to use, because all of these real estate agents are very good. Most of them are realtors. Most of them have been doing this a little bit of time. They're not your brand new, I'm getting started, although there's a place in the market for those folks. This is, the cream of the crop, the folks that are doing transactions, the folks that are making it happen in big ways. And I'm excited about working with Dave today. And, Dave has been in this industry for over 23 years. He's specialized kind of in the Southeast Denver area where I grew up, where Centennial and Parker and Littleton and Castle Rock and Southeast Aurora. And for those of you who know the area very well, you'll know exactly where those areas and how they span and grow. I mean, because Littleton can go all the way up to the foothills, where it's super far, and Southeast Aurora could go all the way to the reservoir on the other side. And so just excited that you're here, David. So maybe you can just share a little bit with us about, first, before you do that, I want you to tell everybody how to get a hold of you, what those digits are, what those emails are, what those websites are, and then maybe a little bit about yourself and what got you involved in this business.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. So my name's David Simonson with the Simonson team, Remax Professionals. My direct line is 303-229-6026. My email is david@simonson.team, all one word, .com. That's SIMONSON team.com. And my website is simonsonteam.com. I really appreciate being here today, Brian. I will tell you that actually, I am the second employee of the Simonson team, because my wife quit her corporate job when she was approximately 4 months pregnant with our first child and said, I'm going to go ahead and leave a steady paycheck. I'm going to leave health insurance and everything, and we're going to figure this thing out. And so basically it was drinking from a fire hose from day one. She got her real estate license and was just absolutely going gangbusters. At that time, I was actually doing lending. And I thought, okay, well, we could be a great partnership here. But I found that if I put both of us together on the same side of the coin and really focus on one thing, we could be even more successful. And so we had our ups and downs like everybody does, but we survived the 2008 crash. We survived COVID. We've survived everything, and we're still standing.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And I love the husband and wife teams, because they seem to just do so much better because they can relate to clients in different ways. And so that's neat that you guys have been able to do that and to do it for so long, and all the different things that have happened. I can't say that, the 2008 didn't affect me. I was a lender. I have my own company back in the 2000s in Southern California, because I moved there. 2008 hit, it just wiped everything out. Yep. And then I decided to get back into it a little bit later. But oh my gosh, to be able to do that, and the history that you guys must have, and the clients that you must have been able to help. I can't wait to hear some of those stories. You've been doing this for 23 years, so you must love it. And so what is your favorite part about being an agent?
The passion that goes with being an agent, a lot of people don't understand. They look at it as a job. They look at it as a career. And I look at it as both of those. But the passion part comes from not just helping families with their first home, but now we're in that stage where I'm helping the next generation of those families actually find their homes. And Brian, I got to tell you, that is about as rewarding as possible when you've helped mom and dad, and now you're helping the kids with their first place. And those are the referrals that really bring me goosebumps even when I talk about them, and make me get up and get moving every single day.
Wow. Well, I bet after 23 years, you might even have some third generation where it's like mom, dad, kids, and grandkids. Has that happened yet to you? Or
It's coming, not quite yet.
okay.
I got a couple clients with grandkids that are finishing up college, and they've already told me I'm going to be the first phone call. And I said, well, find a job and then we can talk.
Yeah. Well, assuming that they all planning on coming back to Colorado
The
so
ones I've
far.
talked to are, yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that is great. Oh my gosh. And so as you guys do that and you make uh, as a team, what makes you guys exceptional? You know
Well,
what? Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Here's the thing is there's a lot of really, really good, really great realtors out there. And I've had the honor of working across the table from a lot of them over my career. I would tell you that what makes us, in my opinion, special, unique, whatever you want to call it, is our commitment, not just to our clients, but to our community. We moved to Highlands Ranch in 1999. We have been here. We have, during COVID, we started a couple different Facebook and Instagram pages, one called South Denver Strong, another one called South Denver Food, to help support industries when everybody was going through that huge shutdown. We have been integral parts of our local chambers of commerce, our local churches, our local schools, everything. We've sponsored, but we've also helped. I've coached. It was funny. I was talking to both my daughters, and I have coached. We figured out probably a total of like 28 teams for them when it came between soccer and volleyball. I coached volleyball. Okay, the only thing I know about volleyball is that there's a net. Um, I've
I love
I've
it.
coached basketball. I've coached um, both of them playing the same sport at different levels because they're 2 years apart in school. And the only thing I haven't coached is lacrosse, where my oldest daughter, this is a proud papa moment here, actually went to Benedictine College out in Kansas and won the NAIA national championship.
Yay.
So
All
the
right.
one sport I didn't coach, she excelled in. There
She
you go.
excelled and they won.
I've
That
even
is
coached spelling bees. I've
really.
spelling teams, yeah, that have
Oh
gone to
wow.
state. It's
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah,
But it's
there is
part.
something. You go ahead. Do you just have two kids? Is that what you
I
have? Two
have I
daughters?
have two daughters. Yep. My oldest daughter graduated in May and is living out in Overland Park, and my youngest daughter is a junior up at CSU, and she is
Okay.
on track to graduate early. So, you know, I I'm very proud of my family, but our dedication to our community is funny. My children had name tags made when they were like 8 and 10 years old, so they could go to like ribbon cutting events with us or grand opening events with us because they wanted to be part of the team.
Oh, that's so neat.
So
So neat. Yeah, there's something about and I can say as me and as you are self-employed, to an extent, um, where you have that freedom of time. And I can remember, my kids, my the ones that I was able to catch. We have 8, so we have a little bit more, and it's probably more than 28 teams. We have 13 grandkids right now, and I haven't been able to start coaching them, but I've been a track coach now for 36 years.
holy cow, that's
And
amazing.
so I've coached that. Yeah, they convinced me again at Cherokee Trail this year. I'm not sure when you guys are watching this, but at Cherokee Trail High School to come one more year, if not 2 more years. And I keep saying this is. I tell my wife this is my last year coaching, and I'm doing a lot of officiating. But I was able to coach, 2 of my kids in high school and in college. And so I was a coach at Azusa Pacific University, and I taught there for 15 years. At one point it was in a high school when I went to school there, and so both of my children have experienced national championships, or 2 of the 8 national championships, several state championship teams that they've been a part of. But there's something about I get to do that because I'm out helping other people and I'm helping the community and I'm doing stuff, stuff I would never want to ever say that I didn't get to do. In fact, able to coach almost all 8 of them in one area or another. And then all the other kids that get to be part of that. And you didn't get to talk about some of that. But you get your kids, but right, they're not the only ones on the team.
No.
You know, and all the other kids that you go to supermarkets and you end up places. You know, we were in Utah somewhere, driving back to California. And, I think it was Richfield, Utah. We're in some little town, and you end up with a kid who says, Coach Arnold, Coach Arnold, you know, like, I don't remember. I'm sorry. You know, like, I was like 25 years ago.
Exactly.
But what a great thing. You know, as doing this, and maybe we can talk a little bit about what's going on, because you did talk about some trends and some changes, and you made it through 2008, made it through COVID. What's happening now? Because it just seems like a more of a strange time than it's. I mean, it's different, right? It gives us surprises all the time. But what are you finding right now that's happening in our market?
So just like you coming from the lending side of the coin, myself on the real estate side of the coin, when we hit, I would call it the end of COVID, which would have been like, what, July of 2023, when rates went up dramatically. Is that correct? End of June.
That's right. You hit it. Yeah, started in June and it hit everybody by July. Absolutely.
Yeah. And when we saw that happen, the rates obviously put a big halt on any refinance, and it really slowed down the purchase market, because here in and around the Denver area, you know, we're not the cheapest market in the nation by any stretch of the imagination. So when you add those rates on, all of a sudden people are looking at payments that are in line with what they're buying, but they're not used to that, because we've seen 2.5, 3 and a quarter.
The clearance sale, I call it.
Yeah, the unicorn is what I called it for a long time. Absolutely. But just because rates went up doesn't mean prices came down. Yes. And so we saw, you know, as you can speak to, we saw a huge kind of a slowdown, or a stop almost, in home sales, because it was like, do you remember back in the 70s when people had water beds?
I do. I had a water bed.
Yeah, I had one too. And when you push down one end, you had that wave, and all of a sudden it pushed all the sheets over one way, and you could feel the whole thing. Well, what happened is, all of a sudden we hit the wall, and everything stopped. But people needing homes kept going. So all of a sudden it was like almost pulling people into the market, as opposed to everybody diving in on their own. What we're seeing now is rates have come down a little bit, and a lot of people don't realize that the rates that we have now are very normal, very middle of the road. I think the historic average, since they've been tracking rates in NAR, is 8%.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And with 8% as a rate, when we hit that, I had people saying, I'd jump out a window if I didn't work from home. And I'm like, that's quite the quite the thing. But you have to understand, they're going to go up, they're going to go down. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, it comes down to, what can you afford, what do you want to do, and where do you want to be? And so it's slowing down the process for everybody now. I am having people, as of the first of the year, coming out of the woodwork saying, okay, we've waited. Now let's talk. What does it really look like for me?
Yeah. That is so true. And you start thinking about, like you said, that average being 8%, but without the housing pricing being so high, and that, I think that's the big difference that I'm finding is, what does it take for the average person that wants to buy a home to be able to afford here in Colorado, if you didn't have something before? There's lots of first-time home buyer programs that are out there, better than ever, more opportunities, but there's less condos, right? Because we've went through this nonsense of condo, defect laws, and insurance not wanting to be able to, insure them, and not building them, but they're building apartments like crazy.
Well, because they're all waiting for that 7-year mark when they can remove the defect item from that. Yeah. And I think we're going to eventually see a large influx of pre-built condos being converted probably in the next 3 to 5 years. I think we're going to start seeing that turn, and it's going to be a slow but very effective turn.
Yeah, I see that as well. And then we see the amount of land that we have here, right? So you think of like on the east side of Aurora, it just continues to go out. You see Douglas County and Parker just continuing to go out. It's like, are we going to have houses all the way to Colorado Springs at one point and feel like we're Los Angeles? I don't think we're going to get that big. I was in Phoenix last week. That is a huge city. And it just goes on and on and on
It's
and on.
everywhere.
It is everywhere, and they're just continuing to build infrastructure. And I don't know if we're going to be, if we're able to do that, or I mean, our airport continues to grow, but the opportunities for new families, I think, are there. Are you finding a lot of people coming from out of state, or is it just folks that are moving in and out?
I've seen a lot of non-funded relocation, meaning they're coming of their own accord as opposed to it being paid for by a company that's bringing them in. And a lot of that comes from our business environment here in Denver, barring a couple small anomalies, is actually very, very strong. And I don't think that a lot of people realize how strong it really is. There is an aerospace industry that has embraced Colorado that a lot of people don't even realize how large they truly are. And they brought with them tech companies, they brought with them engineering companies, they brought with them a lot of white collar and a lot of mid-range to upper blue collar opportunities that have developed. And that doesn't even include, boots on the ground places like 2 Amazon facilities here on the Front Range. Okay, 2 of them. How many are there in the Midwest total? I think there's 8, and we've got 2 within, I think, 55 miles of each other.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So we've had, especially with aerospace and manufacturing, at least in the like the southwest southeast corridor area, we've seen a lot of job development and people that are making the salaries that can actually make those homes still sell. So I think it bodes well. It's a scary proposition for that first time home buyer.
Yeah, it is. And then I see, Pepsi is building a huge plant over here by the Gaylord.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a manufacturing plant that's coming in. Now, I know you've talked about generational, houses, and from moms and dads to kids to maybe grandkids at some point. I specialize in reverse mortgages, and that's I do that and down payment assistance for folks getting in, and I'm seeing a pretty big trend of reverse for purchases where this, like, my in-laws are deciding to move to Colorado in the next few months, and they've decided, hey, we're going to do a reverse mortgage. We're going to sell our home in California. We want to still have some cash. We're going to purchase with the reverse for 50% of one of these huge for whatever these houses are. I don't know if they're going to try a new build or they're going to try something that's out there, but they want to continue with cash. Are you finding a lot of seniors that are either downsizing or are they just staying because they got those 2% and 3% rates? What are you seeing or think the trend is with our senior population?
So two points to that. One, when you talk about reverse mortgages, I think reverse mortgages are the most underutilized item out there because our population is getting older, and when they want to move, they're so entrenched on the standard 30-year, 15-year program, they don't realize the benefits of what a reverse can do. It can, you put money down, you take out a loan, and you don't have a payment. You don't have to do anything. I mean, it is the most satisfying FHA product I think ever created. The only thing I would add to that is when you talk about people moving and everything, is people don't realize that if you have like I'm a veteran, just for an example, I served in the Army, and a lot of people that have served in our armed forces have VA loans. A
Mhm.
lot of people during that time when they didn't have any money for down payment, but they wanted to buy during, that blitz of home buying that happened in 2021, 22, a lot of them did FHA loans. As long as you're not conventional, those are all potentially assumable, and they don't realize how big of a leverage point for selling a home they've got, but also how attractive that would be for a home buyer. Let's say you have a first-time home buyer. They come in, okay, I want this home, but I can't afford it at, let's say, 6.5%, whatever the rate is on that day. But if the rate that the people bought it at is at, let's say, 3.5%,
Mhm.
okay, maybe you look at doing a second, or you take a loan from the family or whatever, but then you've got that first mortgage at that rate that all of a sudden makes it very not only affordable, but attractive and just wanted. And
Yeah.
that's something I think that is being missed incredibly by, unfortunately, by a lot of my peers, in that, when you go to list a home, not only do you have a loan on it, but what kind of loan do you have? How can we
Mhm.
partner up with a lender to help us make that assumption, potentially
Yeah.
achievable?
Yeah, that is something that's come up several times here in the last year with me, where hey, is this a possibility to assume this, because it makes the selling attractive, right? Because that I like you said, the unicorn, I'm calling it the clearance sale that is no longer part of it.
Yeah.
And folks somehow believe they're going to jump back there, and I think it's going to be, I don't know if in my lifetime, as I'm alive, it's going to jump back there. It may. But the key is, how do we get people into homes that they like, and then to continue to move up? What an incredible investment. And I think of, even in your area, in Highlands Ranch or Southeast Aurora, there are folks that are paying $3,000 and $4,000 for apartments.
Yep.
And you're paying that kind of money for an apartment. And you go, where's the equity growing in my apartment for me?
In your
What
landlord's pocket.
Yeah. What's the interest rate on an apartment, right? It's
Exactly.
100% because you're paying all this, you're just paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah.
And and if we can get folks like yourself, David, that are educating buyers at the same time they're showing them houses, at the same time that they're moving through, that realize there's these other, because as a lender, I don't get to those folks at first all the time. It's sometimes somebody like you that maybe refers them to me. Sometimes they'll come to me first, and then we can go through all the different options that are out there. But relying on folks like you, Dave, where you and your wife, I'm sure, that are able to say, hey, we've seen a whole lot of things. I think the big line now is, marry the house, not the interest rate.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of folks are saying. But there's so much truth to that. There really is, what is the house you want, and where is it at? And maybe right now, if you're a first time home buyer, you don't get to live in your dream neighborhood. But if you're living in that apartment that's spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month, you're really not going to be able to live in your dream neighborhood, because there's no ability to save, through that process. So what, I guess I would just say, what do you think your guys' superpower is? As you think over the years, in 23 years, what is your superpower? What are you guys just fantastic at?
Staying married. No.
Amen.
There we go. I got 28 years in.
Oh,
My
congratulations.
goal is for that to be the halfway point.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. No, I would say our superpower is, and I love that question, because it makes people really focus, not what you're good at, but what you really feel is special. And I would say, honestly, it is peeling back the layers when I'm talking to a client and finding out what they really want. It's not I want to sell them this home. It is, do they want a home, or do they want a condo, just for an example? Well, I'm out of town 2 weeks out of every month traveling, and I don't have a pet, and I like to do a lot of downtown events or whatever the case may be. Then maybe a yard isn't in your speed. Yeah, but my parents had a yard, and so and I want to have something like that. Okay, but is that really what what you want, or is that just what you've been told that you want?
Mm-hmm.
And so we try to listen. We try to take, when I take notes on a client, I always ask them when we first sit down. In fact, a client I had today, um, first time meeting him, we sat down together, and I said, "Do you mind if I take notes while we're talking? Because I want them to know I'm paying attention even when I'm not making eye contact."
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking. He goes, "Well, I don't care. I'm just looking for, you know, 3 or more bedrooms and a basement." I said, "Well, is a garage important?" He goes, "Not really." And then we started talking. "Well, my fiance just got a new car. It might be more important than you think it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I don't want to live anywhere where there's an HOA, but I want the neighbors to take care of their yard." Okay, well, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we don't, maybe we look at ones that are master planned as opposed to, privately managed. I mean, there's any one of a number of little things. I don't have to live close to work because I don't mind driving, but on Friday, I run into traffic every single time. Okay, well, where's your job? Maybe we use that as a reference point and do a radius. I mean, there's any one of a number of things, but I sat with him for 2.5 hours. I had 5 pages of handwritten notes. And
Wow.
and at the end he said, "So do you have any other questions?" I said, "I only have one more. Do you have any questions for me? Because I've asked you so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
What can I answer for you?" And he said, "How quick can we get going?" And I said, "I'm going to go back to my office and we're going to start right now." I mean,
Wow.
that's what we want. I want that
Mm-hmm.
excitement that they have.
Yeah.
I don't want them to lose that. I don't want them to get bogged down by overthinking something that doesn't mean anything to them. You
That's
know,
so cool.
I
That is
love
so
having access to the mountains. Really, do you go up to the mountains a lot? I haven't been there in 5 years, but I like the idea of what's
go,
different.
go around.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I,
Oh, that's great.
I,
Yeah, there's so many things that people do say all the time, and then as you unpeel that onion, you realize, no, this isn't what I see what you're saying, and the idea of that is wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Usually
don't
my
mind.
So
Yeah,
Brian, usually my first page of notes beyond like their name and contact info and everything,
yeah,
my first page of notes is usually a throwaway because it's not till we're on page 2 or 3 or 4 where we get to what they truly are talking about and wanting and so on and so forth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you go and they go and they tell you that I want a large yard and stuff, and then you talk to them and they say, "Well, I hate yard work."
Yep.
How do those two things
Happens
come
all
together?
the
You
time.
know, you want the idea of this beautiful backyard, but somebody's got to work it, right? You
Exactly.
ask that question. Well, who's gonna? Are you planning? I'm never gonna hire a gardener. Okay, well then there's a lot of work for you. Oh, so that is wonderful. So we're running down on time, Dave. But if you could just tell us how to get a hold of you one more time, and then maybe even any other closing thoughts that you may have for anybody who's listening today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. I do appreciate you having me on today. Really, really enjoy talking with you. It's Dave Simonson. I'm Dave Simonson with the Simonson team, Remax Professionals. My direct line is 303-229-6026. And it's David at SimonsonTeam.com. That's SIMONSON team, all one word.com. And my website is SimonsonTeam.com. And once again, I do want to mention on Facebook, there's a couple groups. One's called South Denver Food and one's called South Denver Strong. And those are our pieces that we put together to support local businesses during the whole pandemic and beyond now. We're talking with, we do supper clubs. We have people promote their restaurants, promote their businesses and everything on there. It is all about helping community grow.
Oh, that is so cool. And thank you for doing that. And thank you for serving as well. As you can see, this is a person, and I can't wait till we do this again. And maybe we can get your wife on to come on, at another one just to see what that team looks like. And, maybe even 6 months, have one of your clients come on and just kind of talk about what their experience was like. I would love to do that. One of the things that I say, on all these shows is one, that you can do this. And so whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in the home buying world, Dave is a person to go to. And I would highly suggest that you give him a call and unpeel those onions with him and see what that is. The other part is you deserve this. Our country is built on the backs of a lot of folks that did a whole bunch of stuff so that we have the ability to enjoy a piece of property that we get to call our own, and a place that we get to call home that is ours, that we get to give on for generation and generation. And so I hope you are able to take advantage of that. And then the last thing is, please let us help you. We do this every day, all day long. And as you can see from David, as he was talking through some of the things, I bet there were many things in there that you hadn't thought of at this point. You hadn't, oh, I never thought about that. Or I didn't realize I really haven't gone to the mountains in 7 years. And so let us do that for you. Let us spend that time talking with you, spending the time with you, helping you get to where you want to do. This is a hard business to try to do by yourself. It really is. And so if we get the opportunity to be able to do that and spend that time and be able to make sure that then you're going to be able to enjoy this new thing called, whether it's new home ownership, investment home ownership, a second home in ownership, moving up in size home ownership, whatever that is that's your dream, let us be able to help you do. And so thank you for being a part of another episode of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight Podcast. I can't wait to have people call you Dave, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. I hope you enjoyed your time on the show and look forward to having more of them.
Brian, I just want to say thank you one more time, and I hope you have a great, productive day, and God bless.
All right, you too. Have a wonderful day, everybody. This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.